the database given the name. The database actually given the sales procurement name, 3 entities. We are going to create a transaction in which we are going to update, means we're going to insert data into the entities. The transaction mode is asking us clearly to use the explicit mode. In case of exception, we are going to do a rollback. If a query fails to execute, so we roll back the transaction, clearly said. So we are going to do an exception handling, and we are going to use the rollback for the catch up of the catch or the exception. We have an overview of a solution. This here, we'll just implement something similar, but based on the use of our small entities, few entities. We go on step by step. Task number 2 is about generating actually schemas and grant users to schemas and grant specific rights to different users. Task number 3. Let's move to our SQL Server, our work environment. Come on. Password rejected. Great. So I'm going to start a new full SQL Server. So let's get started with the new machine. You can use the virtual machine you have. You can use the virtual machine, or you can use the on machine actually installed. My password. The on machine installed SQL Server. Straightforward. I'm going to start by creating my database. Sorry. So a new database. Just a second. Sales procurement. The name is the sales procure. Okay, confirmed. Three entities. The items, the first one item actually has one, two fields, items. So I'm going to do that. Immediately I'm going to create the first one. It's a table, right click. It's not this one. This is the one. This is our database. Sales procurement, our tables. Table. Item ID. It's an int. Great. Item name. It's a varchar. 50 yes to confirm that. Save. The name is items. Great. Save. Close. New item. The name is invoices. Invoice ID, quantity, qualified date. So I'm going to say invoice ID, it's an int. what? Quantity? It's a varchar. I'm going to say whatever. Modified date. Modified date. I'm going to use also varchar for this one. Avoiding and escaping the syntax. The name is voices. Invoices. Close. Third is foreign customers. FC ID, FC name. Yes. So FC ID, it's an int. FC name, it's a varchar, 100% 50. Contact title, it's a varchar also, size 50. Address, it's a varchar, LB 50. Validate, it's a varchar also. Okay, no spaces usually. Save, it is the name here. Foreign customers. Must. Okay, great, done. Refresh to visualize them. I'm going to refresh this hive. Sorry. Refresh. Here they are. Okay, good. So our entities, they are set. The first task is asking us to create a transaction after this platform, the database with the 3 entities, 3 tables. We are required to generate a transaction. To make the update means to make the insert here of the 3 above entities, and we use the explicit mode to confirm the transaction. And in case of any failure, we have to roll back this transaction. Let's do that. So I'm going to start by generating, actually creating a new transaction. You come back. So new query editor. Here I'm gonna start by creating a transaction. Yeah, actually, yes. And I have a start. I have an end. Between of these two blocks, I'm gonna do all the necessary in the sense of all the query. Actually, I have only to do an insert into what table. The first one, let it be items. Here it appears. I'm going to say values. In between 2, I'm going to say 1 single. What is it? 1, yes. The second field is item name. I'm going to say let it be actually elementary text. Great. So no semicolon. I'm gonna do another insert into the second entity, the invoice or invoices values. Okay, I'm gonna start here and close here. Okay, in between I have an ID. I'm gonna give 1 and let me open expand columns. Invoice ID quantity. It's I'm gonna say 15. And the modified date, it's varchar, so I'm gonna give today's date 2020. Okay, here. Good. Done. Yeah, actually, we're going to modify this one. this and I'm going to just now what we are terminating is the run. We start the run here and we close it here. We'll fix this one because we are required to use a mode for a transaction. So the third insert, it's for the third entity, which is the foreign customers. This is the one. Yes. So insert, capital, insert into foreign customers, values, start here, close here. What are the fields here? Parents, FC ID and service ID. Okay. FC name, I'm going to use characters, semicolons, yes, quotations and quotations. Contact title, I'm going to say, what title? I'm going to say instructor. Okay, this is the value. Address, I'm going to say as well. Also, it's a character. Reg date, I'm going to use today's date. Terminate. We did three queries here inside the one transaction. Actually, we do not terminate the transaction like this, but we do commit. This is actually an explicit transaction execution. We are making the server to understand that this transaction has all of those queries to execute, and he has to commit the execution of those queries. So those queries, they have to be executed and committed. Right. So let's execute. What I'm going to do. Actually, before I execute, in order, because I need to do the thing actually in a final view, and to respond the question once for all, he's saying to us that we have to use explicit mode. We did it, the commit, but still the second part, which is if a query fails to execute, so we roll back the transaction. So anyway, off. But this block fully. If there is any failure, we have to roll back. So there will be a rollback now. Clearly said that you have to roll back. It is highlighted in blue. But when to roll back? After the commit? No. We have to handle the exceptions. Which exceptions? The exceptions that this block might generate the full transaction. If it generates an exception, we roll back. Means if the transaction fails to execute, so we roll back. What does it mean? It means here's an exception. So no, sorry. This is the place where the exception might happen. Might happen. So we have to specify to the program that here might happen an exception. Let's do that. To do so, I'm gonna declare before the transaction that this is a transaction. So I'm going to declare that I'm trying to execute. If there is an issue, so he will not give me an error and he will not stop the program, but he will execute the solution I give, the instead solution, the auxiliary solution, have to. So the catch, so this exception has a limit. I'm going to say here and try. Terminate it. So here, he will try to execute. And this rollback has to have a place. It's not to be executed for all cases. No. There have to be a catch block to catch the exception. And this catch has to have an and. Okay, and catch. Let's stop. Let me minimize the view. Yes, great. So we have actually a block of control, the try. Inside of it, we have an exception. So, no, sorry, we have a transaction. Inside the transaction, we have a group of queries. If any issue happens, the catch block would be executed. The catch is to control what this try launches as exception, means the errors. The errors. If there is any error here, the catch block will be executed. Let's test that. Before we test, let me do a select. So before we test, actually, if this one has been executed, what would happen? The content of the tables would be populated with those data. Means now they are empty. Select star from, let's say, items. Let me execute this one. Highlight, execute. Yes, item ID, item name. It's empty. Great. Let's move to the next. Next entity. So from invoices. Great. Select, execute. Yes. Invoice ID, quantity, modify date. Empty, nothing. Third entity from what? Foreign customers. Great. Highlight, execute. Yes. FC ID, FC name, contact title, address. They are empty. Means they are all set and empty. Let's execute our transaction with the catch block. Okay, I'm going to highlight all, execute. See what happens. One row affected, one row affected, one row affected. Means the three insert, they have been executed. They have been executed. Nothing. I'm going to execute again. Again happened. Because we are not making constraints on the primary key. It will execute now 3 times. I did. Let me test this item. C 111. Sugar. Let's test these invoices. Okay. The same. Invoice ID, quantity. It has been fulfilled. Let's test foreign customers. Yes. And the data is there. There is no exception at all. Actually, because it's simply insert, there is no doubt that there will be an exception. But see what I'm going to do, just to make you understand this catch block, how it runs only. See, before I'm going to keep the same queries at the beginning. I'm going to add another query, which is a select. Sorry, select. It's an aggregation I'm going to do. I'm going to just pass the division of 5 by 0. Okay. Okay. 5 by 0. Okay, great. So we have query number 1. It's a math. It's an aggregation. Insert, insert, and insert. I'm going to change the values of the inserts. This is full. Let me use this one. Also, the second entity, this is full. Quantity, I'm going to say 20. Date, I'm going to say yesterday's date. Here, ID, also it's full. Name, I'm going to say Muhammad. Instruct dates, okay. I'm going to say Muscat. Date, I'm going to say last year, 19. Okay, great. Now, I'm going to execute all that. The transaction with the exception. The exception and then the full block here. Highlight, execute. No colon name. No colon name. We see the messages here. The messages here. Let's check it. 0 row affected. Results. No name. Messages. 0 row affected. What does it mean? They did not happen. Those queries here. This is an exception. We cannot subdivide by 0. C. I'm going to highlight this, select, execute. I have only 3. There is no 4. The 4 here did not insert. Why? Because it is an exception. I'm going to clarify it more. I'm not only going to make a rollback, but also I'm going to do display message. Division by 0. Division by 0. Forbidden. Message. Simple message. Print. I'm going to print like C++. So, if exception happens, like in this case, division by 0, the catch block will be executed. The catch holds what? A rollback and the message to be written. Just message to be written on screen. Let's execute, and you will see. Okay, highlight. Execute. Nothing. No column name. Messages. 0 row. Division by 0 forbidden. From where is division 0 by 0 division forbidden? This is the message. Means the catch block has been executed. It works very fine. If I change the 0 to any other number, see. So I'm going to say 7. What here? Seconds. Okay. I'm going to change the 0 by any number. 5 by 5 means 1. Let's execute now. Good. 1. We wrote new 1. Insert. Let's check. Row affected, which is the 1. Then row affected, the 4. Let's check for what? Query 1, query 2, query 3, and query 4. There are 4 lines. There are 4 lines here. Let's check what happens, or what happened into the entities. Yes, here is the number 4. Let's check the second. Execute. Yes, here is the 4, the 4th, and the quantity. Let's check the third, the foreign customers. Here is Muhammad. Here is Muhammad. Here is from Muscat. That's wonderful, and this is great. Great. Then great. Any questions, please? Task number 1 has been terminated. No, that's great. Let's pass to task number 2. Task number 2, we are required to create 2 schemas, and then after we are going to, let's say, move the entities to appropriate schemes. Means the entities, we have 3: items, invoices, and foreign customers. The schemes, they are sales and employees. Okay. Let me explain you something. What is a schema, first of all? Actually, the entities we created 3 entities, isn't it? We create the items, the invoices, and the foreign customers. We create it simply, right-click and add entity. We'll give the name later. And the SQL server added this DBO dot the name of the entity, DBO dot the name of the entity, invoices, DBO the name of the entity, which is items. What is this DBO? Database owner. What is it, database owner? It's a schema. First class in theory, and first lab, I given you 1 graph and 1 architecture, and we said that the physical architecture is the first security approach to set on a database. Whatever the engine is, whatever the database management system we use, the architectural approach is the first security we set on a database environment. Thus, to reach the entities, we have to pass through the schemas. The schema is a cover on top of the objects. The objects we have now, they are only entities, they are only tables. The question, task number 2, is asking us to create new 2 schemas and to link those entities to those new schemas. Foreign customers, they are employees, let's say. Invoices and items, they are from sales schema. We have actually a preview. Let's keep going on. So here, let me maximize the view. Okay, I'm going to create, actually the schemas, they are sales and employees. Okay. Okay, I put them as comment, not to cause any problem. Okay, I'm going to create the first schema, the sales. So, create schema. I'm going to say sales. Actually, should I respect the capital S? So just leave it like that. Go. Select. Create schema size. Go. Done. Complete successfully. Complete successfully. Let's create the second one. Come on. Create. We give the name employees. Then after, we confirm that. Select, execute. Affect. If I refresh the entities, nothing is there. Nothing is there. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to, the second part, link the entities to those 2 entities. We have the foreign customers. Let's use them as employees. So I'm going to link the foreign customers to the employees, no more, no less. Okay, let's do that. So to do so, I'm going to use the schema employees. So I'm going to alter schema, which is the employees. Yes. Default. Shall we use actually simply typo? Yes. Yeah. Who? Foreign customer. You have to respect the spelling. Customers. Okay. Okay, go. See here, the foreign is linked to DBO. Is linked to DBO. Let's execute this query. Command successful. Let's refresh the entities. Employees. Now we have it. It has changed the order. Now employees dot foreign customer. So it worked very fine. Let's link the other two entities to the sales schema. Okay. Let's say alter schema sales. Let's say transfer what items go. Successful. Refresh to check. Okay. Yes, we have sales of items now. Still the invoice is on the DBO. Let's move it. So alter. I'm going to say schema sales also. Transfer. Transfer. Invoices. So I'm spelling. Let's execute that. Successful. Let's refresh now. That's it. We have sales. We have two entities, the schema, and we have the employees with one entity. Done perfectly. Done perfectly. Question 2 has been done. Terminated. The question raises here why we refer to subdivide entities onto different schemas. Just leave them on the DBO. Full stop. The question answer has to surprise you. Why? Because actually when we give different schemas to different entities, we can control users. They cannot access specific, let's say, tables if they are not in the group they belong to. The employees, they cannot access let's say, the auditing activities, which is in the sales group. Something like that. From the employees schema, users cannot see from the sales scheme. And the vice versa is correct also. From the sales schema, workers or let's say users cannot see from the employees schema. So it's a security reason to grant rights and to give access and to block users, subdividing entities according to schemas. And this is the task number 3. Task number 3 is asking us to create a user and link it to his respected schema. The example is given us 2 users. Let's do that. I'm going to create 2 users and link them to the different 2 schemas we have, employees and sales. Okay. I'm going to say create. Sorry, it has been stuck. I'm going to restart. Just give me a second. Are you able to see the screen, please?
No, mister.
Let me check it. Great. Are you now able to see the screen, please?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna create a user. I'm gonna say Murad with the underscore default schema. Come on, space. Default schema. I'm gonna say the sales. Okay. What is this? Murad has to be a user in our login list. We do not have it. We do not have it here. We will see the reply here. We'll see the reply just in a while. So I linked Murad to the sales scheme. Let's execute and see the reply. While Murad is not available here in this list, it's not available in the login users. Let's execute. Yes, I have an error. Murad is not a valid login, or you do not have permission. Very easy. We do not have Murad here. We have to have Murad. Otherwise, we will not be able to add him to any schema. Thus, I'm going to create a new login, and give it the same name just to use it, Murad. It would use the mixed mode, the SQL authentication also. I'm going to give a password. Okay. Let me confirm. Great. Has been created. That's good. Okay, now let's execute this query again. Yes, successful. Terminated successfully. That's great. What does it mean? Means Murad now, this user here, is belonging to the sales scheme. This scheme. Let's create a second user for the second scheme, which is, what is it? Yes, the employees. Copy paste. Why should I? I'm gonna just modify this schema name, employees, and the user. I'm gonna use just see like the example we have actually. Select, execute. As usual, it's not a member. This Lucy here, so I'm gonna add it. Right click, you log in. Let's see. I'm gonna use the password actually for authentication. Give the password I want to use. Make it thing right or what? Mistake here. Great. Done. This is those has been created. Now let's execute this query. Complete successful. Successfully generate. Okay, now the next task actually is asking us to grant different rights to each user. What does it mean? We need the user to visualize the contents of the table, to insert, update, delete, or what we want. Before we do this, let's see if they can see the other schema entities or not. Murad belongs to sales schema, and Lucy belongs to employees schema. Let's see if Lucy can see what in sales there, and what if Murad can see what in employees. Let's do that. How to do this? How to do this test? Just log in using Lucy and using Murad. I'm going to log in as Murad. My password. Yes, he asked me to change the password. That's great. I'm going to change. Connect. Great. I'm Murad. I'm logged as Murad here. Let me select. Let me come back. Murad belongs to which schema? Murad belongs to sales. Sales actually have the invoice and items. Let's check the employees schema, which is the foreign customers. Let's select these foreign customers. Execute. No, you do not have this name, these foreign customers. Let's execute the items. Invalid object name items still. I'm going to say the schema name items belongs to sales dot. That's it. Let me just execute now, and we'll see. Yes, here they are. Let's execute the foreign customers with the employees schema. Employees dot the name of the table. Let's select and execute. Yes, he can. While he is not able, he is not belonging to this schema. The schema employees, it's not for Murad. Murad is only for the sales, but he still can see the content. He can see this. He can do the select. We will forbidden. Now he belongs to sales. He cannot see the employees, and vice versa. Lucy belongs to employees. She cannot see the sales. Let's do that. To do so, it's a context actually of grant of rights to any user. Let's do that. So we have two users now, Murad and Lucy. Simply, I'll start with Murad, grant. I'm going to say select, insert, what else? Delete, update. It's enough. On, let's say, schema, colon. I'm going to say sales to whom? Murad. Crazy. So here we have rights, the select, the insert, the delete, the update to sales, to Murad. Let's execute that. Actually, remember that I'm logged in as Murad. So I have to log in as administrator again to do so. We'll log in as administrator to be a safe side. My password. Yes, I'm in. So I am as administrator. So here, let's execute. Successful. Let's do the same thing with Lucy. Grant what? Actually, only select here. We'll give only select. Select on. Let's say schema colon, which implies to, let's say Lucy, the second user, Lucy. So Let's select execute. Successful. What type of device she has? Only select. Let's log in as Lucy and try to insert a new field to foreign customers and see if she can do or not, because she does not have. She have only select. Let's log in. Lucy. Password. No, she is this. Great. Great. I'm logged in as Lucy now. Here is Lucy. Let's try to insert into the employees schema, which is the foreign customers. Let's come back. We have an insert already. Let's do a new one. Let's do a new one. We have inside the transaction, no? Insert into, let's say, employees. Yes, schema dot foreign customers. Values. Terminate here. In between we have FCID. I'm going to say 5. What is this? FCID is 5. I'm going to FC name. Single quotation. I'm going to say Fatma. Comma. What else? Let's open the entity. Name, ID, contact title. I'm going to say instructor. Not have any indicator. Then address. I'm going to say Nizwa. Then the last, which is the work date, is a Bacha also. I'm going to say today's date, 2020. Okay, finish. I'm going to execute. I'm logged as this, execute. One row effect. I can do that. Why? Because we specified the schema. I'm gonna change the ID and see if she can do that or not. I'm gonna change the data. To instruct whatever the same dates. Execute. No, you cannot. So forget that. You can do that. Actually, this way we can control somehow the bytes to be given to users from modern database by designing perfectly the architecture inside the database, and we assign the proper, let's say, rights and grants to different users respectively. What else? That's it. That's all what we need to do in this practice. Any questions, please? The activity at the end, it is asking us to execute the aggregate functions and roll back at any exception. The activity is asking us to execute the aggregate functions and roll back at any exception. What are the aggregate functions? The max, the sum, the log, the mathematical functions that you may pass on a query to the server. Those are the aggregate functions. We saw them in unit number 2, chapter number 2. Even the analytical functions, the lead, the log, and the first and the last member, they are all actually considered to be aggregate functions. So if any exception happens when executing them, we roll back. So what does it mean? It means that we have to create a transaction within an exception handling scenario. Let's do that. New block. I'll give you the example. For example, see, select. For example, I'm going to do can do sum. Let me simply make it easy. So it means I'm going to do. I can actually, we can use a sum. We can do the average. We can, but I'm searching for an exception. Let's say 5 divided by 0. Okay. I'm going to say what else? Select. Controlling one time errors. Okay. As, let's say, exceptions. Okay. Let's execute those two. I'm going to execute the first. First of all, select division by 0. We cannot do that. Second one, if we want to execute now, yes, exception is the header. This is the exception as the header, and the content controlling runtime errors. Controlling runtime errors. Okay, the first one has an exception. The second one, no. We are going to control them within a transaction. Let's say without transaction, I'm going to just do an exception handle, try, then after, and try, and then after we have to do exception handle, which is the catch, begin catch. Sorry. In here, we're going to do, for example, print or just select exception fired. Launch means as catch block. Wait. And catch space here. Those are, we advance them a little bit. This one a little bit. Okay, let's execute fully now. Select, execute. No column, exception fired. For the first one, no column. What are the messages? 0 executed, 1 row affected. Results, exception fired. From where the exception fired? Here it is. If we change the 0, for example, 2. Sorry. 2. Let's execute again. Done. Control and run time errors. Here it is. Is there an exception fired? No. There is no exception. Thank you very much. I'll stop the record and I'll send it to you. Just try to wait. If you have any questions, you ask.